Yeah.
Sound is rolling. And we've got camera 1 is rolling. And sound 1 is rolling. In your own time.
Very good. Are we ready to go?
We're ready to go. Action when you're ready.
Oh good. So, good morning, everyone. Let me just introduce myself to you first of all. My name is Mal Sword. I live in Brisbane, Australia, Queensland, Australia. And I'm going to share with you this incredible technology called redox signaling molecules that is been developed by a company in America, a US biotech company called Pptx. And I was first introduced to this technology about 5 years ago now, in about October 2014. And I received a phone call from a very good friend of mine who was really struggling with a major health challenge. And he had been contacted by a friend in America and introduced this technology to him. And my friend's name is Danny Doyle, I should mention that. And Danny received a record called Bart Cotter. And Bart knew that Danny was seriously ill and simply phoned Danny and said, I think I have something that might help you. And Danny, of course, said, what is it? And Bart said, look, you won't have heard of this technology. It's called redox signaling molecules. It's not available in Australia. Again, this goes back to October, November 2014. And Bart said, why don't you fly over to America to meet the owners and the scientists who have stabilized this technology? Before I begin the presentation, I just want to make clear that this technology is not a cure because it's not a drug. We can't say that it cures the body, it heals disease, so I want to make that perfectly clear. What this technology does is to empower the human body to do what the human body is supposed to do. And if this is your first introduction to redox signaling molecules, I'm going to walk through the presentation with you and share this with you. But going back to Danny's story, so Danny decided to go. Danny had been diagnosed with a very serious problem in 2011, and he had treatment in Sydney, in North Shore Hospital in Sydney, for 2.5 years. And after 2.5 years, the doctors called him into their offices and said to him, look, we can't help you anymore. We would suggest that you go home and get your affairs in order and spend what time you have left with your family. And so Danny, when Bart called him, Danny, of course, was, wanting to stay alive, fighting for his life, and he decided to go to America to meet the owners of the company and the scientists. And Danny then called me and said, do you want to come with me? And I asked the same question. I said, what is it? And he said, look, I don't really know. It's a technology called redox signaling molecules. And I said exactly the same thing, maybe that you're going to say as well. I said, I've never heard of that. And he said, no, you won't have heard of it. It's not available in this country, in Australia at that time. Again, this is October, November 2014. But I'd had for 43 years. I won't mention the specific condition, but it was a skin disorder. It was an autoimmune problem. And every doctor that I've ever been to in all those years since I've had it all said the same thing. You'll never get rid of it. It's an autoimmune problem and you'll just have to learn to live with it. But I kind of the eternal optimist, and I thought maybe one day there'll be some technology that will help this. And so when Danny called me, I said, look, great, let's go together. So he and I went to meet the owners of the company and ended up in the boardroom of the company, of Pptx, which was in Salt Lake City in Utah. And we listened to many speakers that afternoon. We were in the boardroom probably 4.5 hours, something like that. And I remember a lot of the information about the science that kind of went over to my head. I'm not from a scientific background, and I wasn't there for business reasons. I didn't go for business reasons, and I don't think Danny did either at that stage. Danny was fighting for his life. I was there because I wanted to see whether this would help my skin problem. So we were really only there for health reasons. We were not there for any commercial reasons. But my memory from that meeting of the 4.5 hours, there was two things that I recall specifically. One of them was a comment that was made by the gentleman sitting next to me. His name was Dr. Gary Samuelson, an atomic medical physicist who stabilized this technology. And a comment that he made that afternoon was, we believe this may be the most significant health breakthrough since penicillin. And I didn't say anything out loud. I didn't say anything to anybody. There was 40 people in the boardroom. It certainly wasn't my place to say anything. I didn't know anything about this technology. But I remember thinking, that's a very big statement. That's a very big claim. And Dr. Gary Samuelson, I've met him on several occasions. He's certainly not a man to misspeak himself. And so my brain was kind of thinking, it's not. What if there's some element of truth to that statement? And I've seen many things in the last 3 or 4 years where I would also concur that this is a very significant breakthrough, health breakthrough. The other comment that I remember from that afternoon was a comment that was made from the founder of this company, a gentleman called Verdis Norton, and I'll talk about him during the course of the presentation this morning. And Verdis Norton is probably one of the most significant men that I've met in my life. Verdis, to give you a little of his background, had come from Kraft. He'd been the strategic vice president for Kraft Foods, a $38 billion company. I'm sure most of you have heard of Kraft. And he had subsequently retired to Utah, to Park City. And I expect that his wife had hoped he'd retired to Park City. But he was then invited to sit on the board of this biotech company that was working on developing these redox signaling molecules. He was invited to sit on the board. Ostensibly then invited to sit on the board of this biotech company that was working on developing these redox signaling molecules. He was invited to sit on the board, ostensibly to continue to raise capital for the company. After, I think, $15 million, $17 million, they were running out of funds, and they approached Verdis to sit on their board to raise additional capital so they could continue the research into stabilizing these redox signaling molecules. And so Verdis is a very significant human being. There's a very good video that I suggest you watch. It's called The Genesis of a Seer, and you'll get to see the heart of the man. You'll also get to see the origins of this company and where this technology came from originally and how it came to be in the hands of Verdis Norton and his family. And the comment that he made that afternoon was, if people really understood this technology, we would be bigger than Apple overnight. And those are the two comments that from that afternoon I remember. And the other thing I can share with you is I didn't really want to learn about the business model. I wasn't there for any business reasons. But my heart was saying, I want to do business with this man, with Verdis Norton. So I felt that about him. I felt that he was a man of incredible integrity and somebody that I wanted to align with commercially, even though at that time the timing wasn't really right for me. But nonetheless, we were there and in the boardroom for, as I mentioned, for about 4.5 hours. There's an ongoing story behind that, and I won't go into all of that now for time reasons. Suffice to say that within 12 months of being on this technology, of being on this incredible product, Danny Doyle was given a clean bill of health, and that was late 2015. Danny is still clear of that situation, the two major issues that he had with his health. In 2019, we're doing this recording in, December now, 2019. And Danny is still clean now 4 years later. So this is an incredible, December now 2019. And Danny is still clean now 4 years later. So this is an incredible breakthrough. And I'm going to share the presentation with you so that you can connect some of the dots as you look at this and understand the significance of this breakthrough. And there's a number of reasons why you might be looking at this technology. It may be that for your own health, maybe you're struggling with a major health challenge. Maybe you've exhausted all other avenues to help you to get well. So you might be looking at this video for that reason. You might also know somebody, a friend or a close family member that has also exhausted all avenues, or even if they haven't, looking at alternatives to try and empower their body to get well. So you might be looking at it for those people. Or you might be looking for a commercial opportunity. The potential of this technology, in my opinion, is monstrous, absolutely massive. As we take this technology into the Asian regions, I'll show you through the presentation, we're currently only in 33 countries. I'm told there's over 200 countries in the world. And even in the countries we operate in, only 1% of the population has even heard of this technology. So this is a true breakthrough. The timing of it is incredible. So let me begin and welcome you to this ASEA presentation. So ASEA is being hailed as the greatest scientific and health breakthrough of our lifetime. As I mentioned when Dr. Gary Samuelson made that statement, when I was in the boardroom in 2014, it took me a little while to begin to kind of connect the dots and understand that maybe this was as he was speaking about. The business model is a referral-based business model. It enables every single person to generate a serious income on a part-time basis without changing what they are currently doing and without selling. And this was the only way that this technology really could be delivered to the world. You can't put it in a pharmacy because nobody's ever heard of redox signaling molecules. Most people that I speak to and I share this technology with them have never heard of redox signaling molecules. If you walked up and down Fifth Avenue in Manhattan and you interviewed or asked 1,000 people, have you ever heard of redox signaling molecules? I doubt if 1 in 1,000 had heard of redox signaling molecules, and yet the company's been operational in the United States for 10 years. And that would be the same in Australia, that would be the same in probably most markets that we're open in the world. So the company, as I mentioned, is called ASEA, A-S-E-A, and ASEA is the global leader in redox signaling-based health and anti-aging technologies. Not only are they the leader, they're the only company in the world that produces these redox signaling molecules. Very heavily protected by patents. We have a number of overlapping patents rolling forward for up to 20 years. In fact, those patents also are being rolled on. So as an entrepreneur, if you're a businessman or a businesswoman looking at this for an opportunity, one of the things that I think will give you, a businessman or a businesswoman looking at this for an opportunity, one of the things that I think will give you incredible confidence and belief, maybe that's not the right word, but confidence in this technology is that we have no competitor. This is not a super juice. This is not an antioxidant. This is a third category of wellness products, if you like. Most of us are aware of the pharmaceutical products. We're aware of products that are natural, goji juice, orange juice. This is a third category and a new category, and this technology is native to the human body. You have redox molecules in your body, even though you've never heard of them before, maybe. You have them in your body. In fact, if you didn't have these redox signaling molecules in your body within 10-15 minutes, you wouldn't be alive. Very significant breakthrough. So this is a very new category of health science, most likely 15 to 20 years ahead of its time, but protected. So we don't have any competition in this space. Is very exciting and very attractive. I want to talk briefly about the founder of this company. I've already mentioned Virtus Norton, and a very significant human being. If you watch that video that I mentioned, the genesis of ASEA, Virtus received a very substantial offer from a pharmaceutical company to take this technology away. They wanted all of the patents, they wanted all of the product, they wanted all of the research, and they basically wanted to shut it down. And he had some people that he knew that were taking this product, and he felt that it was helping them enormously. And he believed that had he accepted that offer, that this might not have seen the light of day, or it might have been so expensive that it might have been beyond the reach of the average person. Suffice to say, he decided not to go down that route. And as they then looked at the best ways of delivering this to the market, they decided this was the best way of delivering it, by word of mouth. And the reason that it needs this word of mouth explanation is for a number of reasons. The fact that nobody's heard of it, nobody knows about it, and it needs explanation. It needs a one-on-one explanation to be able to explain this. And if you look at the research behind moving any products to market, it is actually the number one way of moving a product to market. Number two is SEO, but number one is word-of-mouth marketing. And so Virtus and his family decided this was the best way to deliver this technology to market. Virtus has recently retired. We celebrated his 80th birthday in Las Vegas a couple of months ago. And the company is now run by Tyler Norton, his son. And there's a great saying that fruit never falls far from the tree. And so one of the other reasons that I'm so excited about sharing this opportunity with you is the integrity of this family, the integrity of the owners, and the integrity of the people that run this company. In a business like this, you can have a company is mismanaged if it's run by people that are either immoral or maybe not competent to run a business well. You can waste a lot of time. In my own experience, I've probably had that experience. And so a big part for me is knowing who the owners are and the executives of this company. I trust them implicitly. I don't go to bed worrying each night whether this company is going to be around. You can imagine that a company that is being run directed, guided by the man who was a strategic vice president for a $38 billion company. We're in very good hands. In fact, one of the key things with a business like this, a business model like this, is one of the biggest dangers is that the company grows too fast. Many of these kind of companies have gone down because they've grown too quickly. And in 2011, Virtus actually slowed the company down a little because he felt they were growing too fast. So the point is we're in very good hands. We're run by two very competent people, more than two very competent people, but the founders, Virtus and Tyler Norton, are incredible human beings. I share with people that, in my opinion, Virtus Norton is one of the most significant human beings that I've ever met in my life. Incredible human being. So ASEA the technology is based on many years of research. In fact, I believe 15 to 17 years of research. And if you go back to the origins of redox signaling molecules, when it was first discovered what redox signaling molecules and the significance of redox signaling molecules do in the human body, three Italian scientists, I can't recall their names, three Italian scientists won a double Nobel Prize in 1998 for understanding the significance of redox signaling molecules in the human body. Prior to that, they thought that redox molecules, they really didn't know what function they had in the body, but they thought they were some kind of waste from the cells and served no real purpose. But in 1998, these three Italian scientists really discovered that these redox signaling molecules are foundational to life. From that point, the race was on then to try and produce these redox signaling molecules outside of the body. They deemed it impossible because they are fleeting, very bioactive, and they felt that it was impossible to produce and stabilize these redox signaling molecules. And after many years of research, 17 years of research, this company was able to do that as a result of having Dr. Gary Samuelson on board to complete the process and to be able to stabilize them. A little bit about the company in terms of volume of sales, so you can see where we are on a global basis right now. So in 2017, sales exceeded $100 million US. In 2018, sales exceeded a little over 120 million US dollars. And here in 2019, we're just about to close out the year, and we believe that sales will exceed 180 million US dollars. In my opinion, there is no question this company will be a multi-billion-dollar company. How long it takes to get us to $1 billion is probably a little conjecture. I think my belief is shorter than the company's belief. They're conservative, and they should be conservative. But within the next, let's say within the next 5 years, 7 years, this will be $1 billion company. Especially now that we are now penetrating into a number of the Asian countries. The potential of this technology into Asia is phenomenal. People often ask me, why do I say that? Why do I think that? There's a few reasons. Number one, because half the world's population is in Asia. So we're sitting on the edge of the largest population base. Very significant for those of us who live in Australia because they call this region Australasia. They don't call it America-Asia or Europe-Asia. They call it Australasia. So this region is really ours. Very excited because there'll be people that you know, even if you don't know, there'll be people that you know people in Malaysia or know people in Hong Kong or Taiwan or Singapore. So currently we're open in 6 markets. I'll just speak to that very briefly. We're open in Hong Kong, we're open in Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Taiwan, and also the Philippines. So still a very small group of countries. We're not yet open in Japan. We're not yet open in Indonesia. We're not yet open in Korea. We're not yet open in Vietnam, in Cambodia, in Laos, in Burma, Myanmar. We're not open in China. So we still have massive markets yet to launch into the market for this company, for this technology. So ASEA is perfectly positioned ahead of the growth that will come in the next 3 to 5 years in 3 areas. And this technology really moves into 3 very specific areas, into the health areas, the wellness areas, and the anti-aging areas. And it's the Asian market that is very excited about the anti-aging technology, the anti-aging potential of this product. You can see, if you're seeing on the screen, and I'm sure you are, the top management. These people are some of the finest people that I've ever done business with in my entire life. I've been in business now since 1980, And these are the finest people. Their ethos and the way they conduct themselves and in business is just incredible. And as you get to know them, if you're on board with this company and get to know them, I'm sure you will have the same belief. You'll see on the right-hand side of your screen some of the Science Advisory Council, Medical Professionals Board, a lot of doctors, surgeons, people from medical background that have onboarded with this company over the last decade, over the last 10 years. As I mentioned before, we're now launching in, ASEA is now in 33 countries and huge possibilities in all of these markets, with still less than 1% of the population in those countries that have even heard of redox signaling molecules. I'd never heard of them. Likely, if you're watching this for the first time, maybe you've never heard of redox signaling molecules. I'd never heard of them. Likely, if you're watching this for the first time, maybe you've never heard of redox signaling molecules either. And so we're expanding worldwide, amazing possibilities to be amongst the very first, and you are still amongst the very first people to hear about this technology, whether you're listening to this in Australia or Malaysia or the Solomon Islands or Nauru, New Zealand, you're still amongst the very first to hear of this incredible technology. As I mentioned before, this technology moves into three very big areas. The huge industries are over $4 trillion worth of business, significant growth year on year in the health and wellness, anti-aging and athletic performance markets. And ASEA has some of the most incredible, unique and advanced products in these industries. And these are products that do things that no other product can do. Again, this is a separate category. So this category of technology is called native to the human body, and they do things in the human body that no other products can do, because they're the only products in the world that contain these redox signaling molecules. You'll be seeing some photos right now, before and after shots. The lady on the left-hand side of your screen is a naturopath, a lady called Reidun Bone from Norway, and the Renew 28 application. And you can see the photo at the top left of screen and the one at the bottom left of screen. The difference in the time that she started using the Renew 28 on those photos was about 3 weeks. And I was with Reidun in Maui a few weeks ago, and I got another photo of her, and her skin is even better, and she's now 7 years older than those photos. But you can see the results, and what's great about the Renew 28, which is up to 3 times more concentrated than the supplement, the redox supplement, is that you can visibly see what the technology does, what the product does. One of the things we suggest to people to do before they start using the product, and you want to talk to the person that's recommending that you use it, because with the gel, for example, you just want to shake the tube to activate the molecules a few times. But you can see visibly the before and after shots. When you drink the redox signaling molecules, it's a little harder to see inside your body to actually physically see what the technology, what these redox molecules are doing. Physically see what the technology, what these redox molecules are doing. You'll see on screen now the 4 products on screen. The 2 on the right-hand side of the screen contain redox signaling molecules. The product that I just mentioned, the Renew 28, is a topical application. It's a gel application. And the serum, the Renew Advanced, right next door to it, is a more concentrated version of the Renew 28. It's called Renew Advanced or Renew Serum. And then the 2 products on the left-hand side of that photo do not contain redox molecules. The first one is a cleanser or toner, and the next one is a moisturizer. And this is part of a complete skincare range. This was brought to the market in 2016, and ASEA decided to produce this range because many of the women inside the business with ASEA said, can you produce a range of skincare, because they were buying it elsewhere. And so ASEA produced this range. The marquee product, though, is the liquid. The beverage bottle are identical to the redox molecules you have in the human body. Redox molecules are redox molecules. 2 sites that I would encourage when you're looking at this. One is PubMed.gov, which is an American site. It stands for Public Medicine, so PubMed.gov. You can go in there and research redox molecules and heart disease, or redox molecules and diabetes. And the other site to go to is Google Scholar. Please don't take any notice when you go to Google. Google is a search engine. It's not a research engine. Anybody can put anything that they want on there. One of the comments that appears that distracts a lot of people is that this is just expensive salt water. Let me just explain 3 reasons why you can tell that this is not salt water. The first one is go home and put salt water in your right eye, And you already know how that's going to feel. Your eye's going to be red and weepy and watery. It's going to be really sore. And then put redox signaling molecules in your left eye. And you'll notice that one is raw and sore and the other eye is feeling well and soon weepy and watery. It's going to be really sore. And then put redox signaling molecules in your left eye. And you'll notice that one is raw and sore and the other eye is feeling well and soothed and nice, and it won't be red and raw. I use redox molecules in my eyes every single day, have been for the last couple of years. I've had new lenses put in my eyes and I use these redox molecules in my eyes every single day. So number one, that's how you'll know it's not salt water. Number two is whilst Virtus Norton is an incredibly clever man, which he is, how do you get heavy patents, many patents on salt water? How would you go to the Pacific Ocean and then take them in and get patents on that salt water? It's ridiculous. So you can't have patents on salt water. So these are redox signaling molecules. The process starts with pristine salt and pristine water, then goes through a 3-day complete molecular restructuring to produce these redox signaling molecules. The other evidence you'll have that it's not salt water is that a company called Pptx, which is a laboratory, US-based laboratory, checks every 4 batches produced by ASEA and certifies that they are full of redox signaling molecules. And Pptx, I understand, operates for 20 of the top 25 pharmaceutical companies in the world. They certainly would not put their reputation on the line saying these are bioactive redox signaling molecules if it was just salt water. So those are 3 common sense reasons why you will know that this is not just salt water. But go to PubMed.gov and go to Google Scholar. We have many athletes that use this technology. One of the questions I'm asked is, will this come up in a drug test? Well, it can't, because these redox molecules are native to the human body. You can't be allergic to them. You've already got them in your body. It's not a drug. It has no toxicity. You can't overdose. You can overdose on water, but you can't overdose this technology. So you'll see a number of it and that are using this technology for training. One of the best links that you can go and look at, if you Google a man called James Lawrence. So Google James Lawrence and ASEA. They call him the Iron Cowboy. And in 2015, James Lawrence did 50 Ironman events in 50 days straight in 50 different states in America. In fact, I was watching on Netflix, they did a movie on him recently. And he drank 3 bottles a day of ASEA for recovery, so he could back up again and do another Ironman event. And an Ironman event, for those of you who don't know, is a 2.5, don't quote me on these figures, 2.5 mile swim, 120 mile bicycle ride, and a 20 mile run. Imagine doing that 50 days straight, and you need something to help you to recover each day. So redox signaling molecules, let me just speak to a little bit about what's actually produced inside every cell in the human body. They detect cell damage so they can be repaired or replaced, and they increase the cell's production of glutathione, the most powerful antioxidant that protects against cell damage and oxidative stress, fundamental for the immune system, protecting against harmful bacteria, viruses, and infection. A question that I'm often asked is, why, if we have these redox molecules in our body, why do I need to take any more? Why do I need to supplement with the redox molecules that ASEA produces? And the answer to that is that we maximize the production of these redox molecules in our body at puberty, 12, 15 years of age. And then every decade we decline by about 10%, so about 1% a year. So at my age, naturally I would be producing probably about 10 to 15% of what I was producing at puberty. But now I can drink redox signaling molecules every single day and carry on like I still am. And so that's the reason that we supplement with these redox molecules, is as we age, we deplete the production. And it's one of the reasons, if you think about it, does a 10-year-old heal faster than a 20-year-old? Yes, they do. Does a 10-year-old heal faster than a 30-year-old? Yes, they do. Do they repair better and heal faster than a 40-year-old or an 80-year-old? Yes, they do. And a large part of that is because of these redox signaling molecules in the body. There is a lot of science now. This is one of the fastest growing areas of health science in the world today. There's now over 17,000 peer-reviewed articles and over 1,500 books that are written on this subject of redox signaling molecules. For decades, scientists tried to produce these molecules outside the human body, deemed impossible. Virtus Norton started calling many of the laboratories and spoke to many of the top scientists around America, and every one of them said, Virtus, you'll never do it. You'll never be able to stabilize this technology. And it was as a result of his meeting with that this company, ASEA, has been able to produce these redox signaling molecules. And I just want to emphasize again that nobody else has these. Very heavily protected, very heavily patented, and nobody will get close to this technology for many years to come. So after 2 decades and millions of dollars of research, ASEA scientists managed to produce stabilized redox molecules in perfect balance outside of the human body. Heavily patented production process, and therefore is the only company in the world that produces these. In the photos you'll see here, you'll see the plant, which is in Pleasant Grove, Utah. I actually visited that plant with Danny in 2014. My memories of it was that it's just impeccable. It's just impeccably clean and incredible facility. This facility is scaled to do $1 billion worth of business. Again, this year we'll do 180 million US dollars. This particular facility can scale to $1 billion within 2 or 3 weeks very quickly. They already own the block of land next door, so this company is set to go into the billions of dollars worth of business with this technology. I mentioned before, you'll see at the bottom of the screen, BioAgilytix. I've already mentioned them and their role in testing every 4th batch that ASEA produces. On screen now, you'll see this incredible human being, Dr. Gary Samuelson, and he was the gentleman who he and his team stabilized this technology. He said recently, the redox signaling process is remarkable because it is a process that allows us to regenerate tissue and maintain normal function and capacities. This is a very significant statement. This technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health we have ever seen. Let me just share that again. This technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health we've ever seen. This is a very significant breakthrough. And you and I have the ability to be able to take this to the world, commercial reasons, that you're looking to develop this as a business and commercialize and help us to deliver this to the market. And we look for people like you. We look for entrepreneurs. We look for people that specifically want to help us to deliver this to market, to help this company to $1 billion and beyond. This next gentleman you're seeing is, I forget his name, he's I believe a chiropractor from the United States. We call him the half-faced man because he used the Renew 28 on just half of his face, and you can see as you look at the slide that he used the Renew 28 just on the right-hand side of his face, left-hand side of the screen, and you can see the difference visibly. If you look at his glasses, it almost looks like the glasses are on the lean, and that it's almost like he's got Bell's palsy. You know, he's rectified this now. He uses the Renew 28 on both sides of his face now. Here's some other photos of using Renew 28 twice a day for 3 days, and then once a day for 3 days. Most people see results. Here's some other photos of using Renew 28 twice a day for 3 days, and then once a day for 3 days. Most people see results after 30 to 90 days, and let me just speak to that. There are protocols now after 10 years of research with this technology. One of the things that sometimes people say to me is, when I'm encouraging to use the product, they say, "Oh, just give me a bottle or just give me one case," and I won't do that. It's not fair to them, and it's not fair to the company or the product that people do that. What the company's seen in 10 years, some people respond with this technology in a matter of days. 5%, 10% of people will notice a change within the first few days up to a week. Probably about 5 to 10% of people will notice that result very, very quickly. I wasn't one of those. My friend Danny Doyle was one of those. He responded to this technology actually within hours. Change within 30 days, 60% in 60 days, and 90% in 90 days. Some take a little longer. My dear old auntie who lives in the Blue Mountains, 4.5 months, she'd had a condition, I won't mention it, but she'd had that for 30 odd years. 4.5 months on the product, she had a major breakthrough after 4.5 months. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but for most people, 90% will see a result in 90 days. If you are looking at this technology, one of the things that I would encourage you to do in the first month, if you can manage it, is to double dose. That's instead of taking 1 bottle a week, take 2 bottles per week for the first month. So you will feel it. You'll feel it in your mood. You'll feel it in your sleep patterns. You'll feel it in your energy levels. So if you can manage to do that, I would encourage you to do that, to double dose, so that you see and feel the results of what this incredible technology will do. You can look at this slide and see this young gentleman. Again, I won't mention the condition, changing from the picture on the left of screen to the right. Again, I won't mention this condition, but this was a condition that I suffered from for 43 years. Every doctor that I'd ever visited told me that I was never going to get rid of it, that it was an autoimmune problem, and you can see visibly the results of the change with this condition. This is a lady who had some, marked blemishes, you might say, on her face. And people always look at the little red box, but if you look at the neck lines as well, just look to the left and then the right of the photos, and look at the difference in her the neck, the lines on her neck. So you can see there's a lot more elasticity in the skin as a result of using the product. Let me just speak to these two trials. The one on the left-hand side of screen is a company called Stevens and Associates. This is a US company. And they did a 4-week study on the Renew 28. Most significant marker on that, you can see some very... the one on the left-hand side of screen is a company called Stevens and Associates. This is a US company. And they did a 4-week study on the Renew 28. Most significant marker on that, you can see some very significant improvements. The second one down to 50% improvement in blood flow. That's a very significant marker. And that was on the Renew 28. The results on the right-hand side of screen was on the Renew Advanced, or the serum. And this is by a German company called Pptx. And Pptx have given this product a 5-star rating. Pptx won't give a product a 5-star rating if any one of the trial respondents has an adverse adverse effect with taking this technology. And look at the results there. Look at the markers. This was over an 8-week study. 100% improvement in fine lines. 95% improvement in skin smoothness. 85% in radiance. And 92% improvement in photo aging. Why would you not? Again, no toxicity. This product has no toxicity. So here we have the products that work on the inside out. The signature product, the beverage, the drink, works on the inside out. And then we have the topical application, the Renew 28, which works from the outside in. So what happens to our body when you see the photos? You can see visibly the changes from the outside. And then, of course, you can connect the dots and say, well, okay, that's what the redox molecules are also doing on the inside. So Arcea replenishes the very redox signaling molecules that improve cell renewal and help every system of our body to function optimally at every age. People generally report less fatigue, better sleep, improved health, improved mood, less discomfort, and many more advantages from taking these products. Significant impact for athletes, athletic performance, endurance, strength, recovery, and mental stamina. And every one of us doing life these days, if you're doing life, for most of us, it's life today is very busy. We're all kind of like athletes, even though we might not be competing. But to do life these days for most of us is it's very busy. So here's a range of some of the athletes that are using the product. Some of these products, again, you can't be tested for it, can't be drug tested for it. There's a very good video link you can go to at athletes.arceaglobal.com if you want to listen to some of those incredible testimonials. This next slide is interesting. This was produced by Huffington Post, which is an online publication in the United States. And in 2016, and I just want to read this to you, this came out in June 2016, and it says, here are 5 of the craziest game-changing technologies that are starting to take off in 2016. Again, this was about June 2016. Pay attention. Some of these will affect our lives in the coming years. Organic electronics, nutrigenomics, synthetic biology, and number 4, redox signaling technology. Redox signaling molecules have been around for eons, but it isn't until recently that we've learned about their central importance in our health on a cellular level. New technology is emerging, Arcea, redox signaling molecules, where you can take these redox signaling molecules into your body, helping to repair and replenish your aging cells. Since we are made up entirely of cells, every organ in the body can potentially benefit from this new technology. Again, it's new technology because it's groundbreaking, and we're launching into countries that have never even heard of this. Let me now go into some of the business plan for those of you that want to look at this and help us to deliver this to market, to generate serious income by introducing contacts to a seer without changing your schedule. When I say serious income, it's going to be different things to different people. I understand if you're listening to this in the Philippines, that 1,000 Australian dollars a month is going to be a serious income for you. I understand that, and you can certainly do that with this, and it shouldn't take you that. Some of you might be looking for a serious income to generate, $25,000 a month or $50,000 a month, or some of you might be here looking for $500,000 a month. So it depends on the word serious as to what you can do. There is no salary cap with this technology. There is no salary cap in the compensation plan. This is an open-ended opportunity. You can generate as much or as little as you want, even if you're here because you just want to make enough to cover the cost of your products. You're most welcome. So you take out of this, it's a little bit like a smorgasbord. You take out of this what you want. So with building a business like this, it is simply word of mouth. It is based on referrals as you do in a restaurant. When I build this business, I look for entrepreneurs. I look for visionary people. I look for people that are entrepreneurial. I look for people that are looking for an opportunity that in my mind is unique. This is a category creating technology, transformational technology. And in fact, the first time that a true transformation delivered to the market like this. This has never been done before. Every other company, every other network marketing company has really delivered a product that's already been known to the market. This is not known to the market. There's a very good link that I like to share with people, and it's called Transformational Technology. You can go to YouTube and watch this. Transformational Technology and a Seer. It runs for about 5 minutes, and it's probably the best explanation that I could share with you about the transformational nature of this technology, why it's unique, why it's a category creator, and the potential that you and I have as entrepreneurs helping to deliver this to the market. So we look for people who are entrepreneurial. My question when I phone people is, John, are you open to looking at other income options? Bill, are you open to looking at other income options? And people either are or they're not. I'm not offended if they're not. And if they're not, I do ask another question. I say, John, may I ask, do you know somebody that's struggling? Not. I do ask another question. I say, John, may I ask, do you know somebody that's struggling with a major health issue? Because I feel I have something that could help them, and I would love to send you some information that will be of benefit to them if you could forward it on to them. So it is an incredible technology, and the window of opportunity is phenomenal. Building a business like this, when built properly, creates residual income. Residual income in the general nature of it tends to be linear. When you build a business like this properly, it won't be linear. It will be exponential. So imagine setting up a residual income that will be exponential and explosive. Now, that doesn't happen overnight. Let me be very honest with you, very frank with you. It's not going to take 2 weeks unless you know something that I don't. To get to residual income with a business like this, with a business like a Seer, in my experience, is going to take you somewhere between, let's say, 18 months and 3 years, in that time frame. And that it might take you longer than that. It really depends on you and how fast you can grow, how fast you can develop. Depends on how effective you are in communicating the message, your people skills. It depends on some factors. But for somebody that's looking at this for the first time, 18 months to 3 years to be able to generate a significant residual income is about your time frame. If you want it to take longer, that's your business. If you want it to take shorter, that's also your business. I have a friend in America, Mr. Leland Duck, that managed to build this business to the diamond level within 14 weeks. That's not common. That's not normal. I certainly didn't do that. It took me 19 months to get to that level, but it can be done. You may be one of those people that will do it very, very quickly. After 14 weeks, Leland was earning $25,000 a month. I didn't do that, but he did that. And you might be able to do that as well. Certainly, we're seeing people in Asia be able to build this business very, very quickly. Able to do that as well. Certainly, we're seeing people in Asia be able to build this business very, very quickly. So the contacts that you introduce will also know other people and will know other people. In my own case, I have organizations growing in Asia, and I didn't know those people. I introduced somebody here who introduced somebody in a different part of Australia who knew somebody in Singapore or Malaysia. And that's kind of how my organizations have grown into those regions. So it's friends connecting with friends. It's entrepreneurs connecting with entrepreneurs. as you're listening to this information, you will be thinking about people that you know that are very entrepreneurial, that you can open the door to this technology for them. And there's lots of information that the person that invited you to watch this video can send to you to back up with information on the technology. If you want more on the science, we have a lot of validation on the science. So right now you can earn residual income from the 33 countries. But imagine in 5 years when a seal will be in, say, 70 countries or 80 countries. The potential is, I believe, 200. In South America, we're launched only into one country, into Colombia right now. It's the only country. So we still have massive potential around the world. In this way of connecting, this is how you build these distribution channels. And when people ask me what I do for a living, that's what I say to them. I create distribution channels for this amazing biotech company, US biotech company around the world. We are ultimately rewarded for the distribution of product. The more product you distribute, the greater the income that you will be. Now, there's a structure, there's a compensation plan. A very good place to go looking at that is www.amazingmoleculestraining.com. There's a very good link there from Alan Noble on the compensation plan. But ultimately, we're rewarded on volume. So building a business like this, if you have 5 people in your organization, there won't be a lot of volume and there won't be a lot of income. But if you have 5,000 people in your organization and your structure is, you've got a good structure, then you'll be rewarded accordingly. If you've got 50,000 people, you can imagine the kind of incomes that you can generate. If you've got 200,000 or 300,000, again, you can imagine the volume of business that you're generating. And you and I are rewarded on all that volume inside the structure. So we get to build these distribution channels all over the world. Again, you don't have to do that. In my own case, I have been building distribution channels around the world. I've waited all my life for this opportunity, and so I'm very active internationally, developing this and helping to deliver this technology to the world. It's been my passion, my privilege to do that. And this year in 2019, I visited 17 countries. Again, but you don't have to do that. You could build your distribution business in Australia or in New Zealand or in Singapore or in Malaysia. Or in the Solomon Islands, wherever you're based, you can build it there. It really depends on the vision that you have for taking this, helping us to deliver this technology to market. So you can build distribution channels in the Americas helping us to deliver this technology to market. So you can build distribution channels in the Americas, into Europe. Again, many countries in Europe we're already open in. And also into the Asian network, the Australasian region where I'm based. And I still believe this will be the biggest simply because this is where half the world's population is. So what you do is completely up to you. It is a smorgasbord. The business is designed to do part-time. Part-time in a business like this is somewhere between, let's say, 8 hours and 15 hours a week. The key with building a business like this is to be consistent. The business does not like inconsistent. It doesn't like people that do a little bit here and there. And again, I'm sharing with you as if you want to monetize this and help to create a residual income for your family that you can then leave as a legacy income to your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. This is a legacy company. Long after I'm gone, the income generated from this organization will pass on to my children. It is a legacy income for my family in future years. As in any business, there is a cost of starting. In Australia, the cost to open your account here is $60. Really, there's no barrier for entry for people in Australia. Most people find that easy to enter. And by opening your account here with a SEER, you then access all of the products and services at wholesale. You know, one of the questions that I ask if people say to me, I just want to use the products, and you're welcome to do that, is would you rather pay wholesale or retail? Now, I'm Scottish. My heritage is Scottish. I'm going for wholesale. If I can buy wholesale over retail, I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to assume that you will as well. And so you open your account for $60, no barrier to entry. How you open your account, the various packages, I won't go into that on this presentation, but your friend who introduced you to this can go through that. Again, there's many ways to generate compensation. The link to Amazing Mention will explain a lot of those. There's 8 different ways. Very generous compensation plan. 50% of the turnover is returned to the associates building the business. So 50% of everything is returned. Very generous compensation plan. It's a binary model. There are lots of lifestyle rewards and trips incentive trips that are included for the people that get to the executive ranks, the executive levels. As you grow the business, the trips improve, they get better and better. In 2020, there was a legacy trip to Bora Bora. Just incredible trips, all expenses paid, and that's just an add-on to the compensation for building a business like this. Let me go briefly into a little bit of the training. The business is very simple. Really, when I look for business builders, there's two things that I look for with people. Number one, do they have a dream? Do you have a reason, a purpose, a mission, a vision of a life that you want to have that you can't get maybe doing what you're doing? Do you have a dream? Do you have something that you can't get maybe doing what you're doing? Do you have a dream? Do you have something that you're passionate about chasing? And number two, is that person teachable? Will they learn? Will they develop? Will they grow themselves? Will they develop? This is about people. This is a people business. You know, people move products. Products don't move people. This is really about personal development. When I work with people, a lot of it is to do with encouraging them to listening to the audible books. Develop your mindset, develop your belief in you and your ability to develop organizations and accomplish the life of your dream. But it's a simple business. It really is. It's just about connecting with people. I do that with a telephone. I'm kind of old school like many of us. I'm not very good at social media. I know people using social media around the world. I built my organizations just by picking up the phone and having conversations with people. So you can build it that way as well. So the business is simple. Anybody can do it. You're seeing here a picture of the various ranks. Everybody started. It's where I began my journey in kind of February 2016 when I onboarded when Australia launched, fully launched into Australia. My friend Danny Doyle had been building the business in pre-launch the year before that in 2015. I onboarded at the beginning of 2016. But you can see the trip up the mountain. There's different income levels. If I can give you some illustrations as to incomes at various levels. At the bronze executive level in Australia, you would expect to earn around $2,500 per month in the executive momentum pool, the MP pool, all the way up to the diamond level. You can see there, and a diamond income in Australia will be somewhere around the $15,000 per month. Maybe more than that, it depends on your structure, but conservatively, let's say $15,000 per month. And then you go up to triple diamond, and then past that, there's 6 other ranks, going into the ambassador ranks, and then also into the presidential ranks. The highest rank in the world is presidential triple diamond. We have one qualifier at that level, Trish Swankler, the number one income earner in the world, and one other presidential, and Denny Robinson, both women, interestingly enough. Women are very good at this business. If you're watching this and you're a woman, women are very good at this. Us blokes can do it as well, but women are I think women are better communicators. Women are more empathetic with people. But us gentlemen can learn those skills as well. So you'll receive a lot of help and training. One of the things that we don't do is simply open your account and say, good luck, I hope you make it, because you'll need the help of somebody enrolling you, somebody that's competent. Find somebody that can mentor you and guide you and teach you how to build a business like this. It's not complicated, but there are some keys to it. When you open your account, you have back office, an incredible back office, virtual office. It's very easy to back office, virtual office. It's very easy to run. I find it very easy, and I'm so low tech, very low tech. But the back office is very simple to navigate. In summary, ASEA will become one of the biggest companies within the health, wellness, and anti-aging industries of all time. Absolutely, this is an incredible breakthrough, an incredible technology, probably 15 to 20 years ahead of its time. You are watching this at an incredibly good time in history. We're on the J curve. We're growing at 50% a year. We're post momentum. The risk has gone out of the early stages of the business. 10-year-old company, incredible technology, incredible opportunity that you're seeing right now. So you are seeing this at the right place at the right time. So your mindset. So we are looking to identify people that want to make a change right now in their life. To build a business or simply to use the product. Personally, as I mentioned before, I look for the visionary people. I look for the entrepreneurs. Connect the dots with this technology, with the breakthrough. You should be so excited, as I am. I'm nearly 4 years in with developing this, helping ASEA to deliver this to the market. And I'm more excited about this than ever I've been. And seeing the kind of people that are coming into this and watching the growth in Asia, it's just an incredibly exciting time. I just wish I was 40 years younger, but I keep drinking the Redox. Maybe I will regress 40 years. Let me just address this slide. For those of you that are kind of new, maybe never built a business like this before, please understand that you're going to contact people that will say no to you. They will look at this and they'll say no. And so when you build a business like this, avoid the emotional roller coaster, the highs when somebody says, yes, I'm really excited, and then somebody says no. So avoid the emotional roller coaster building a business like this. Build this emotionally neutral, in the middle ground. You know, if you were a plumber and you know, so avoid the emotional roller coaster building a business like this. Build this emotionally neutral, in the middle ground. You know, if you were a plumber and you go out and give 10 quotes in a week for plumbing work, you don't get 10 jobs. You'll get maybe 3 of those jobs, but you don't emotionally destroy yourself because 7 people didn't accept your quote or weren't ready for the work, or the timing wasn't right for them, or they thought your quote was too expensive. The 3 is fine. You understand that's the nature of building a business. It's the same with building a business like ASEA. A lot of the people that I reach out to, in fact, probably most of the people that I reach out to, tell me no, that maybe the timing's not right. They're not looking to make extra income, and they're not open to even looking at the technology. That's fine. I understand that. So don't be disappointed. Don't be hurt by that. It's just the way that we do business, and it's fine. And if you can become emotionally neutral to that, it will really help you. And so don't worry about it. 3 types of people. We look for the visionaries, the leaders. Green apples are people I'll show you in a second. So the red apples say yes, they look at this and it's terrific. Okay, let me get going. Please open my account. Let's get started. Open my account. Let's get started. And then we've got the green apples that want questions. That's fine. We have a lot of information to back up some of what I've been sharing with you. And then we have the rotten apples, and they're just people that aren't in the looking zone. It doesn't mean to say they're rotten people, but they're not looking. And so we don't have to do much with those guys. They're just, no, I'm not interested, and that's fine. No problems at all. What I've found in the years that I've been building organizations is that we will attract who we are. And so I teach people that monkeys will produce monkeys, at least they should, and rabbits will produce rabbits, and fish will produce fish. And in a business like this, you will attract who you are. What we find is we see the big leaders, the key leaders who are passionate about this, they're visionary, they're excited. They attract people like that. Red apples do attract red apples. And so a part of this, of course, is the personal development in becoming all that you can become by learning. I listen to audible books every single day, 30 minutes to an hour every single day. Empower my mind, empower my mind, empower my vision, my mindset, my belief in me as a human being and as a leader to improve who I am, improve my ability to communicate with other people. And so we find that the red apples will attract the red apples. Now, when you go to the market, of course, you're going to speak to red apples, green apples, and rotten apples. Again, not rotten people, just not the looking zone. But your business, you want to set your business up like this. So what we know is leaders attract leaders. Leaders beget leaders. Leaders find leaders. And so you want to have an organization like this where you've got red apples and red apples and red apples. So when you find a red apple, they are going to find a red apple, and then that red apple will find another red apple, and that's how it goes. This slide is a little out of date. This was the convention that we had this year in Las Vegas. The one next year in 2020 is in Anaheim in California, and this is where we meet the top leaders in the world. Get together from all the countries in the world. And if you're wanting to build a business like this, please let me encourage you to come to these conferences, these conventions. We have our major conference in February 28th, 29th in Australia on the Gold Coast on the 1st of March. It's called Envision, and it's where you'll have all of the top leaders in Australia share their experience and teach you how to build a business like this and bring as many people as you can. These events will create explosions. This is a leverage point. These functions create leverage points for us in the business. So what now? As you've watched all this information, what I'm hoping you do is to call the person that invited you to watch this presentation. I hope it's been helpful to you and significant for you, and come and join us in the business. You know, we want you to come and join us to help us to take this to $1 billion and beyond. And we need you to help us to share this technology, incredible technology. Many of us here want to help this become a $1 billion company while our founder, Vertus Norton, is still here. You're so gracious to allow us to create a legacy income for our families. We want you to come on board to help us to deliver this to the markets and take this to $1 billion company. The earlier you do it, the better your position will be. This is going to be $1 billion company with you, and it'll be $1 billion company without you. We'd much rather have you with us and share this incredible technology with the world. Thank you very much for sharing this time with me. I hope that's been helpful to you. And I very much hope that we meet at some meeting or some event somewhere around the world, and I get to shake your hand and congratulate you for helping